All right. So let's move on to the third topic. As I mentioned, this need there. These next two are not going to be as long as the previous two. So I'm gonna yeah, it'll be a little bit short before I get out of here. So as you can see, Caitlin Clark, right? I don't know how many of you do the women's basketball thing, but she's an amazing sports topic right now, and obviously we know she's one of the best women's college basketball players ever, and she made her WNBA preseason debut last night, Friday night, and we all know what Caitlin Clark represents from women's basketball. We know that she is and has been an incredible player on the collegiate level, and now um, there's a lot, right? Some people don't like what she represents to women's basketball. Like everything else in America, there's a racial component, but some people think that maybe she's getting attention that others should have gotten beforehand. But at the end of the day, it's no disrespect to anyone else, but some people are needle movers or some are not, no matter how great they are. We just finished talking about how great Tim Duncan was, but he wasn't a needle mover as compared to LeBron James. So it's that's just how it is. Some people move the needle, some do not. Um, Caitlin Clark is a needle mover. We saw when they announced that she'd be wearing number 22 and opened up her Indiana Fever WNBA jerseys for sale. They sold, since they've been available, more jerseys of that than the entire Dallas Cowboys organization for all of last season. Now think about that. The Dallas Cowboys are one of the top three most well-known organizations in sports globally, right? Dallas Cowboys, Manchester United, soccer in the English Premier League, and probably the New York Yankees, right? The three most well-known sports franchises on this globe. And Caitlin Clark, in a matter of weeks, outsold the entire Dallas Cowboys team in jersey sales last year. I mean, think about what that means in terms of her being a needle mover. This is a term I'm going to use a lot, needle mover. So she's brought a ton of attention to the WNBA, along with her college rival Angel Reese, and some more of the players that came in. Camila Cardozo, Angel Reese's new teammate in Chicago. Um, was it Cameron Brink? I can't remember where she got drafted, but she was one of the top players in the country. But again, we saw what Caitlin Clark did ratings wise in the women's basketball tournament in college. And when they had the WNBA draft, that drew a record rating 2.45 million viewers, right? Including myself, which is, get this, almost five times the number from 2023 and 307% more than the previous record of 601,000 viewers in 2004, which coincidentally is the class of Diana Taurasi, who many consider to be the GOAT in the women's game. So just look at that. Now, don't get me wrong, things are different now in terms of how we consume media and all that, but Caitlin Clark, again, needle mover, 2.45 million, excuse me, viewers of the WNBA draft a couple of weeks ago. Just think about that. That's crazy. Anyways, like I said, last night she had her preseason debut, and it was somewhat like her college games. We definitely saw some similarities, and there were some things that I was looking for in terms of how she would play and what we would see, and how they would coach her. And Caitlin Clark is clearly going to be Caitlin Clark. Now, she didn't have the most efficient game. We saw her take and make a lot of the same type of shots that she took and made in college. Now, it wasn't, again, a great percentage. She was 6 of 15 from the field, 5 of 13 from three. Now, we know that Caitlin Clark could shoot it, right? Is there any question about whether or not she can shoot it? The way she shoots with range, the way she shoots off the dribble, all that is probably what made her so popular and made her an exciting player, kind of like a Steph Curry type player, the female version. But with that, um, those are the things that the modern fan wants to see, and that's entertaining. But anyway, um, at this level, WNBA, maybe better shot selection might be important for her to kind of get a hold of, right? We know that she had the ultimate green light with Lisa Bluter, her coach at Iowa. She could pretty much shoot wherever and whenever she wanted. And I don't know that she'll still have that in the WNBA. It appears that she's going to have some freedom in terms of shooting the basketball and having the ball in her hands a lot, because she's also a gifted passer. If you looked at that little highlight package I had up there a few minutes ago, there was one where she caught last year's number one pick, Aaliyah Boston, on a back cut, and she just she put a pretty little bounce pass through the lane and got it to her. So there's that. There's different ways to look at Caitlin Clark and how she plays and what her abilities are. So we're gonna see how they coach her, but at least for that very first preseason game, it looks like she's gonna have some freedom to kind of do her thing. But it was interesting to see that at least so far, it's only been one game. She doesn't appear to have a whole lot of trouble in terms of getting her shot off at this level. Now, again, it was preseason, but it was still good to see. And I'm definitely interested to see how that goes against the better teams in the league. And there is something I'm curious about, and I always wonder about this, right? Scouting. What's this? Oh, this is interesting. I have heard this discussed. Caitlin Clark, she's straight and espouses conservative values. You have to juxtapose that to most of the WNBA being over 90% identifying differently. Also, you have the overt identity politics in that league. Yeah, absolutely. And um if you want to be real about it, thank you for that comment. It's just it's not that serious. Something that was interesting in terms of that, I read recently an article. I can't remember who the player was, but she's a former WNBA player, and she was saying that she was bullied mercilessly for being heterosexual in a mostly homosexual league in the WNBA. And it's real funny that no one seems to have any problem with it. It's not a story that's talked about, but could you imagine if it was the flip side, how that would be going, right? They Everyone would be up in arms about, quote unquote homophobia or whatever, and they would really be going in on those heterosexuals. But apparently it's okay for the it's okay for people of other persuasions to bully and be brutal to those who are heterosexual. I thought that was very interesting. But anyway, um I'm definitely gonna have to watch this. This is something that I'm curious about. Coaches watch tape, right? Even in college, and you always wonder, why don't opponents seem to know that Caitlin Clark loves the sidestep and step back threes going left? It's almost always going left. If I can see it, I know they can, but no one seems to be able to do anything or devise any type of defense to kind of maybe counter that. And I find that curious. Now, don't get me wrong, during the regular season, a lot of times you don't see as many adjustments because it's one game and then on to the next. So maybe if Indiana makes the playoffs, then you'll see more adjustments in terms of how they deal with her on that particular move. So we'll see if it happens, and I'm interested to see if those adjustments get made. But anyways, I'm definitely probably this season going to watch the most WNBA that I have watched maybe in years, right? Because I want to see what Caitlin Clark can do on this level, and I know that I'm not the only person that feels that way. A lot more people are going to do that, and that's why she again is moving the needle. And I look forward to watching her go against Diana Taurasi and Sabrina Ionescu in New York and Kelsey Plum. I'm looking forward to seeing all of that. All right, I got a call. Hello. You called Format Podcast.
Yes, this is Logan from Detroit.
What's up, Logan? How you doing? What up, though?
Doing pretty good. I listen to you every night at work. I work midnight. I listen to you every night.
I appreciate that, brother. Thanks so much, man.
Uh, I don't know what the podcast is tonight, but I called because I wanted to chime in on that Michael Jordan, LeBron James GOAT debate.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. So real quick, for those listening, watching the show, we're gonna divert from the Caitlin Clark topic for a minute, and I'll go ahead and show some love to this caller. What do you got on the Michael Jordan, LeBron James GOAT debate?
Well, first of all, I like to say that Michael Jordan is the best player ever.
I agree.
So with that being said, I would like to break it down a little bit more
Hmm.
because people often throw Kobe Bryant in the mix. Now, we're going to eliminate Kobe Bryant real quick because we will say who's better, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. So
Yes.
that eliminates him out the mix right there. So now it comes down between Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. Now, as I said, Michael Jordan is the greatest, but I would like to say something on behalf of LeBron James. For
Wait,
instance,
you would like to say what is half of LeBron James? Say that again.
I would like to say some things on behalf of LeBron James.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. What you got?
Now, some of those teams that LeBron James took to the championship, I don't think that Michael Jordan could have done it. It was during the Cleveland era when Michael Jordan came back, excuse me, when LeBron James came back to Cleveland. Okay, I'm talking about during that time. Now, there was a couple of times where Kyrie Irving was hurt and or Kevin Love. So LeBron James wasn't fully staffed with himself, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. And some of those role players that he had, it was all on him to get those teams to the championship against Golden State Nuggets those years.
Warriors,
And
yeah.
I don't think, yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry, yes, the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Michael Jordan could have done that with that ensemble. Although I would like to say that I think Michael Jordan would have had them better prepared throughout the season. So the way they played during the playoffs, they wouldn't have played like that with Michael Jordan because he would have had them better prepared. Now, with that being said, as they did play, I don't think Michael Jordan would have took them to the championship, especially all those years in a row. However, I think that Michael Jordan probably would have averaged a lot more points because he would have felt the need to do more himself. He probably would have averaged about 40 during those playoff runs with that Cleveland squad.
Okay. So let me
Uh,
say this. For I appreciate your commentary, but let me say this. You can't. So I do agree with you, LeBron James. LeBron, I agree with you. Michael Jordan's the GOAT, right? Greatest player of all time, hands down. I don't believe that LeBron is better than Kobe. Like the eye test will tell you that. When you watch those two play, the skill set for LeBron just isn't there if you put it up against Kobe. It's just not. He doesn't have the moves. He doesn't have the footwork. He doesn't have the handle. He simply doesn't have it. He doesn't have the post game. Like all the things that Kobe could do, he's not as good in the air. He's not as good from the mid range. The majority of LeBron shots, and you can look this up on Basketball Reference throughout his career, it's like the last 2 years that he's finally started stepping out. But up until that point, the vast majority of his shots were taken at 0 to 3 feet, right? And so he also had the benefit of playing in an era where, for the most part, the dominant rim protecting bigs weren't there anymore. He didn't have to play against Olajuwon and Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning and Shaquille O'Neal and all these guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant did. So by the time LeBron got to his peak, Ben Wallace was done. Dwight Howard, when he was at his absolute peak, he beat LeBron, knocked him out of the playoffs, and went to the finals when that was supposed to be, as my man Sneed said earlier, LeBron versus Kobe, right? And so we can't just summarily dismiss Kobe and say LeBron is better. Like that's ridiculous. I can't do it. And this is a great point here. Uh, LeBron is not better than Kobe, and LeBron knows it. And that's why he has to try so hard to convince everyone. That's why he has to have people in the media to push the narrative. That's why, if you notice, every single interview that Rich Paul goes on, somehow, some way, it gets back to the GOAT debate. He has to push that narrative. Why? Because LeBron's work simply cannot stand on its own in terms of where he stands in the pantheon of all-time greats. And that's why he's pushing so hard to rack up stats.
okay, I can agree with you. I can agree with you.
Yeah.
But also, you got to ask yourself, who would you want to start a franchise with between Kobe and LeBron?
Oh, Kobe.
It depends on what era you take LeBron into, young LeBron or the more mature LeBron. But I mean, it depends on who you put around Kobe because I think to me Kobe was just too ball dominant. Give me the ball, I'm gonna do it.
Well, that's funny because LeBron has the higher usage rate than Kobe career-wise, so that says that he's a more ball-dominant guy, despite the fact that he's got a lot of assists in his career. And then also, Kobe actually could play within his system. We know LeBron can't do that. Yeah, there's no way. I'm not doing it. Nah. and when Kobe won his 2 championships that didn't have Shaq and went to the finals 3 times without Shaq, he didn't have the level of help that LeBron James had. That's just a fact. He didn't have another top 50 player on those teams. He didn't have another top 75 player on those teams, right? He had one other All-Star, Pau Gasol, I believe. So we can't do that. Kobe didn't have what LeBron had. So again, it comes down to this mission to summarily dismiss Kobe in favor of LeBron. Can't do it if we're really honest with ourselves.
Do you think you replace Kobe Bryant with LeBron James and put Kobe on those Cleveland teams? They make it 4 years in a row.
Um, ooh, well, so I don't know. I off the top of my head, I probably want to say no, but at the same time, with how weak the East was at that point, there's also no realistic reason to say that it couldn't have happened.
But hold on. Boston had a squad at that time.
So
Boston had
yeah, go
they
ahead.
had a nice squad.
So you're
Prior
talking.
to Kyrie Irving going there, Boston had a nice squad.
So remember, you're talking about the 4 years. You just said 4 years in a row that Cleveland. Hold on, Sneed, I got you. You're talking about the 4 years in a row that Cleveland went to the finals. So that was 2015, 16, 17, 18, right? Boston was
Yeah.
Boston was they were done from the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo Celtics at that point. Uh, they were done from that, and now they were with the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum Celtics, but that team was super, super young, so they weren't ready yet either. So, of course, again, another situation where LeBron caught it perfectly time wise. The East was not that good at that point.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. But listen, I'm gonna go ahead and let me Sneed, go ahead, call me back. Thanks for calling so much, my brother. I appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to hearing more from you. All right.
All right. Call you next week.
All right. Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
You too.
Sneed, go ahead, man.
Hey, that was a good call. I really do appreciate what the gentleman had to say. I was hearing him out. I disagreed with basically like a bulk of his case about like
Mm-hmm.
Kobe not being able to take those Cavs to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those Cavs got to the finals on defense
That's
and
right.
rebounding.
Yep.
What in the world are we talking about?
That's how Tristan Thompson got paid. That's how he got paid.
Drew Gooden,
That's right.
Zadrunas Ilgauskas.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were they were top 3, top 5, top 2 defense in the league every year.
Mm-hmm.
These were 60-plus win teams.
Right, right. So I believe he said when they went to the finals 4 years in a row. So that's after Miami when he went back to Cleveland. But even still, Kevin Love was a dominant rebounding big at that point. Well, not like he was in Minnesota, but I think he was still about 11 rebounds a game at that point. So he
But
was
that East
still,
was
yeah, go ahead.
bad.
Exactly.
That
And
East
that's
was
what
bad,
that's what I
Bruce.
told him. Yeah, I'm with you.
They were beating the Raptors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. You mean to tell me that Kyrie Irving won't neutralize Kyle Lowry?
Yes. Yes.
You mean to tell me Kevin Love won't neutralize whatever they had in Toronto?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No,
Or
I'm with you.
LeBron couldn't just score at will against anybody on their team? Who was Siakam even emerged?
He wasn't. He was close, but I don't think he had blown up quite yet. He was good, but he wasn't that guy yet.
They
He
were
wasn't the
sweeping
Siakam that we knew he would become.
the Cavs were sweeping these teams
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because the Cavs were good,
Yeah.
not because LeBron was carrying the Cavs.
Well, but see, what happens
Ky-
is it doesn't support the narrative for you to explain that the Cavs were actually good teams and they were well coached. What we need to, what the real narrative is that, they were a lousy team that LeBron carried. And so that works better for the quote unquote GOAT argument by LeBron. And that's why we hear it so much.
Kevin Love is going into the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he should, but everyone goes into the
But
basketball
let's
Hall of
look
Fame.
at the Hall of Fame and let's see Kevin Love stay out of it.
Well,
Like,
that's
look
what
at
I'm
the guys
saying.
that are in there.
Yeah. The
He's
basketball
gonna
Hall of
go.
Fame is pretty weak.
Kyrie's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
So you're gonna tell me that LeBron carried those guys? They
Right.
weren't a part of that. They were carried.
It is what it is.
J.R. Smith got carried. Are you serious?
Again, gotta fit the narrative.
Bro, the Golden State Warriors. I remember these games so vividly, Bruce. Nobody could hit a shot, but you know who could? J.R. Smith.
Right.
On both sides of the court.
Mm-hmm.
Not Clay, not Steph, not Dre, not Bron. I saw J.R. Smith hit shots.
I think Kyrie averaged like 27 in that final series in 2016. So he
was as good offensively as Bron.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Bron's offensive peak.
Yep.
If you want to talk about a bag, like that was that.
Yeah.
That was peak Bron bag or whatever you want to call it, right?
Again,
these stories, Bruce, that these people tell,
right?
I mean, they should write fiction books. It is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they're not even watching the game. They violate their own logic. They violate what they see. Bro, Bron was my favorite player for like 10 years.
Okay.
And then there was a time where I literally it's Kobe. I have to look at Kobe's career.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the way that the media tried to blackball him.
I think I know what that's about, though.
Yes. I saw what they did to him. I saw the way he bounced back. I saw the way he worked. I saw the way he destroyed his body in pursuit of greatness.
Yes.
Bro, his body literally died on him.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like it gave up. The machine just failed. No gas, no battery left. The parts are falling out. And I don't get that out of this version of Bron.
No.
There was a point where you could have thought, like legit made the argument, Bron had the potential to be the GOAT. There was a point because there was still potential in his career. It was like that point of his career when he's like year 8, 9, 10, right?
Right.
He started winning chips. Now you can start having that conversation. But that's it. The career is to be evaluated now. There's nothing he could do now that's going to change his position in the rankings of greatness. He already has the point record. What's left?
Right.
So
it would have to be more like championships, but that's not going to happen.
But he's not going to be the best player on a championship team.
But
and he's not going to be the second best either.
But you know how that goes. He's going to make sure he gets his numbers, and he's going to get the credit for it because, brilliant marketing and controlling the media. That's what that is. But let me go ahead and let me finish up this Caitlin Clark topic and then get this Canelo and let you guys get out of here, man. Thanks for the call, Sneed.
I'll be listening to that Canelo. Go ahead.
All right. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
All right.